All right. Hey YouTube, I'm Lucky, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about the burning question on everyone's mind right now if you're a PvP player in Destiny 2, which is, what is the new meta for PvP? For a very long time now, it's been 120 RPM hand cannons and aggressive frame shotguns, particularly the Steady Hand and the Felwinter's Lie. So we want to know, since Bungie has just recently did a big nerf again to 120 RPM hand cannons, aggressive frame shotguns, and the Dead Man's Tail scout rifle, which was extremely overused inside PC, that is for PvP. What is the meta now? What is the new meta inside PvP? And of course, we're in a sort of testing phase right now where people are trying new things. You're going to see someone use some weapon and be like, this is it. This is the new meta. This is what must be used now. But it's going to take roughly around 2 weeks at most to figure this out. This is generally how it always works. I've been doing Destiny for many years now. Trust me when I say this. It'll be figured out more or less within the first few days, but it takes a solid 2 weeks before we can fully confirm this is the new meta. But one thing I do have for you right here is I have some data that we can go by, because I love looking at the data and the numbers when it comes to the meta, and I bring you the Trials Meta Report. This is not the Trials Meta Report. That's going to come after this weekend of Trials. But one thing we can look at is last week's Trials statistics, okay? Felwinter's Lie, number 1. Steady Hand, number 2. Ignis Hammer again, dear God. 3 120 RPMs back to back. The Dead Man's Tail, number 5. Messenger, Adored, Rizzwalker, Chaperone, and the True Prophecy. And now we can see this week we're only about 6 hours, or maybe about 7 hours at the time I took this screenshot, so keep that in mind. Only about 7 hours into Trials, and this is what we're looking at now. The Chaperone rose from being the number 9 most used weapon in Trials to being number 1. Dear God, it is a Chaperone meta, okay? If you haven't been rocking the Chaperone, it's time now. Apparently, this thing is taking over when it comes to shotgun engagements. I do believe this is a weapon that's a little more potent when you're using a controller, so if you're playing on console, you're going to enjoy the Chaperone a little bit more. If you're playing on PC using a controller, you'll also enjoy it, but if you're on PC with mouse and keyboard, it's going to be a little more finicky. Not going to quite have as much fun as the controller players do using this weapon. The number 2 most used weapon is Felwinter's Lie. So now we've got 2 shotguns in the top spot. Great. I'm happy to see Bungie nerfed shotguns. The number 3 most used weapon is the Ace of Spades, a 140 RPM. I definitely called this though. I literally said I think Ace could be the meta because it literally operates and feels like a 120, but it packs a punch like a 120. But it's a 140, so keep that in mind. And no surprises there that the Ace is that high. No surprise to me, at least. Number 4 is the Adored Sniper, so somehow sniping went up a few tiers, which kind of makes sense. I mean, if shotgunning gets nerfed a little bit, then people are going to be more prone to sniping, so it makes a little more sense. We got shotgun, 140 RPM hand cannon, sniper, and then the last word, which is again a really strong hand cannon. It's mostly used like, you don't really use like a hand cannon. You kind of just spray it like an SMG kind of. It's again more controller-oriented weapon. Currently, it's not half bad on mouse keyword, but it's definitely more for controllers. And then going down to the number 6 spot, we have the Dire Promise, another 140 RPM hand cannon. That's crazy to me. That's crazy that we're already down in the number 6 spot, and we still haven't even spotted a 120 RPM. When last week the top 4 spots had 120 RPMs, and then down to number 7. Oh, of course, Bastion comes back. Oh boy, here we go. Now that shotguns have been nerfed, the Bastion users are back, and they are ready to get their vengeance on all of you shotgun apes that have been running them over for so long now. And then all the way down in the number 9 spot, we spot our first 120 RPM hand cannon, all the way down there. The Steady Hand with 35,000 kills cumulative at the time I'm recording this video. Again, I'll make an updated video once the weekend is over. And the Messenger still hanging in there, which, by the way, if you haven't been using Messenger, it's a beast, okay? When you get Desperado procced, literally the craziest time to kill of any primary weapon at that range, right? Absolutely insane Messenger once you get that Desperado procced. No surprises to see the Messenger up there. And then in the 10th spot is actually the Thorn, another 140 RPM hand cannon. Pretty crazy stuff to see way more 140 RPMs than 120 RPMs in the meta report as of right now. But again, like I said before, we're in a sort of experimentation phase where people are like, hey, things have been nerfed, which means this thing is bad now, when it's really not necessarily that bad. For example, today I went flawless on all 3 characters. My Hunter, my Titan, and my Warlock. And I rocked a 120 and a shotgun because that's kind of just what I was used to. I wanted to mix it up a little bit more, but Trials was really, really sweaty at the start, stack teams and all that. So I'm just like, I'm just going to stick with what I know is good and what I know how to use, what I'm comfortable with. So I stuck with the meta, but let me know down in the comment section below if you played Trials today, what weapons were you using, and if you didn't want to suffer in that playlist, I don't blame you. What weapons are you using right now in Crucible outside of Trials? What weapons are you finding to be fun and new and unique and a breath of fresh air? You know, hopefully we can move away from the 120 RPM shotgun meta and move on to something new. I did make a joke, and I continue to make this joke regularly, which is that Bungie, man, they're really good at mixing up the sandbox. They changed the whole sandbox from a shotgun hand cannon meta to a hand cannon shotgun meta, which more or less is true if you think about it. But regardless of that, I do think that the sandbox has been shooken up quite a bit, especially for a mid-season update, which we have almost never really seen such a big one. We've seen it maybe once before in the past. So I like Bungie actually doing mid-season sandbox changes because the start of the season has been pretty brutal. It's been just so overly, 120 RPM shotgun heavy. So happy to see the meta mix up a little bit there. We'll see what happens in the future. I mean, maybe some of these other pulse rifles get some notice. Maybe these 140s fall out. Maybe 120s are actually still really good. I mean, 2 to the head, 1 to the body is always really nice. So I definitely feel like 120s and Ace are definitely going to be up there. But with time, we shall see what falls out. My prediction is that I don't know if these 140s are necessarily going to be the meta. We'll see, though. We'll see. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. And if you did enjoy this analysis of the Trials meta, make sure you're subscribed with notifications on because I will be doing a full Trials meta report when the weekend's over. Smash the like button, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Later.